Alright guys, welcome to the video. Today we're going to talk about web fonts and typography and how you can manipulate them using HTML and just a little bit of CSS. So I'm going to go into my HTML course folder that I already have created, and this is a full course. If you're just watching this video as a one-off, there's no problem with that. It'll still teach you what you need to know about web fonts. But I'm going to make a new file called 5-webfonts. .html, and I'm going to go ahead and make my boilerplate CSS code. I'm going to hit Shift exclamation tab, give my document a title of web fonts, and we'll get started here. So I'm going to go ahead and close out that other one. I'm going to hit go live so we can see our changes live. Here's our web fonts page. And we'll go ahead and make a heading in H1, and I'll call it my heading. Okay. And we'll see the font on my heading is kind of like this old time newspaper font. Not very pretty. I hate this font, but it's the default font for Google Chrome, and it's Times Roman or Times New Roman if you're on PC. That's what they call it. So all of your fonts, your headings, and we'll make a paragraph with some dummy text here. We'll say 200 is also going to be Times New Roman, and that's just the default Google font. Okay, so if you want to change your fonts, you can change them in two different ways. One way that you can do it is by using the style attribute on your HTML element. So I'm going to type style and hit tab, and then I'm going to say font family, and we'll switch it to Franklin Gothic Medium. When I type in font family on Visual Studio Code, or pretty much any code editor, it's going to go ahead and give you these default fonts that are built into most computers that you can use. And these default fonts are cool because, like I said, most computers can handle them and they know what they are. So you won't have any troubles with a browser loading them when you launch your website live to the web. So let's just say here I want Verdana. I'm going to select that and hit save, and it should change my H1 to Verdana. There it is. So that's Verdana. And you'll notice here that after Verdana, we have Geneva, Tahoma, and Sans Serif fonts as well, separated by commas. And those commas are fallback fonts, and they're telling the computer if you can't load Verdana, go ahead and do Geneva because it's really similar and it looks almost the same. If you can't do Geneva, do Tahoma because it's really similar and it looks basically the same. If you can't do any of those, just default to Sans Serif. Okay, so that's all that. Those are just fallback fonts is what they're called, and they're in case the computer can't load them. So the other thing that we can do to change our fonts like we did here is we can actually go up to the head of our HTML document, and I'm going to go underneath my title, and I'm going to make the style element, the HTML style element. And then within that, you can put a little bit of CSS. So if you don't know CSS well, or you're just here for HTML, that's okay. I'll just show you how you can do it. So let's say I want to change my paragraph tag, the font on that. I'm going to select all the paragraphs on my P by just typing out P. I'm going to put curly braces, and I'm going to go to font family and hit enter. And I'm going to write out, let's see, I want Arial for all the paragraphs on my page. So let's do that, hit save. And we can see our paragraph just updated to Arial. And since I selected everything with the P tag here for CSS, all my paragraphs are going to do it no matter what. So let's do another paragraph below here. And I'm going to say Lorem 50 tab. And there's another one, Arial. So all paragraphs now will be in that. For this H1 where we used inline styles, only this one H1 is going to carry that style. If I wanted to make that global, then I would delete this style attribute and I would go up to H1 and see how when we deleted that, it went back to Times New Roman. But I'll go up here to H1 and I'll say font family, and this will make all the H1s on the page tune to whatever font I want. We'll say this will be Arial too, and that's Arial. Okay. So that's how you change your fonts. You can use inline styles or style in your HTML document. Inline styles aren't recommended because you have to change, like the inline styles only go for that one element and nothing else. So if you want it more global, use style tags. And then of course, if you're making like a real web project, you'll make a style sheet file and you'll have everything separate. But again, this is just kind of talking about HTML. One last thing I'll show you is something called Google Fonts. So Google has, we'll go to Google Fonts here, but Google Fonts has their own like fonts area of their company, and it's been around for a long time, since 2010. And what this is this is thousands of more fonts that you can add to your computer, and have them download from. You can put code in your HTML to have them download them from Google Fonts when the web page loads, and you can use tons of more different fonts. So let's say that I wanted to grab this font called Playpen Sans. I'll just select it, and I'm going to go up to this thing that looks like a shopping bag and get rid of these other fonts that I had from another project. Hit remove all. And I'm going to go back into Playpen Sans, and I'm going to say I want thin 100, regular 400 of this font, and bold 700. So the 700, the 400, and the 100, those are what's called font weights, and you can change those as well using a little bit of CSS to make your text bolder or skinnier, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and see all this code that I got here in the link area. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go back into the head of my HTML document above my title. I'm going to paste in all that code. And then I'm going to grab the font family for this, for what was it, Playpen Sans. So I'm going to go down below the code and select the font family Playpen Sans and copy that. And now let's go up to our style tag. Well, first let's get our page back opened up here, next side by side. And let's say what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this stuff in the style, and I'm going to use the asterisk selector, and that means the asterisk is like a little code for select everything on the page. And I'm going to paste in that font family of Playpen Sans, and I'm going to save it. And now my everything is Playpen Sans, and that's loading from Google Fonts from the code that we have here. And then remember, I also downloaded additional font weights for that. So after font family, you can use font weight. And let's say I wanted to make it all that 100 thin. Now everything is thin, okay? And then I think I selected 700, which is bold. There's bold, everything's bold. And then I can make font weight 400. Okay? So yeah, that's basics of web fonts and typography and how you can change them. Using you can either use right in your HTML inline styles, or you can use the style tag, which again, you're not really going to be doing that when you're doing real development. You're going to have a separate style sheet. But yeah, we're just pretty much talking about HTML in this course that I'm doing, so I'll just pretty much show you the basics of HTML and web fonts and whatnot. So thank you so much for watching, guys. You have a great day.